I don't know what it is, but it seems like on YouTube, the people who try to debunk what I'm going to show you today don't really understand it. And they say it's really controversial. So, right here, complete scam. Don't do this without understanding this one crucial thing. And I saw this guy's video, and he totally doesn't understand what he's talking about. And it's relatively simple. I'm going to tell you the two secret steps to paying off debt, right? That we're going to talk about today. Number one is you just don't save money. And then number two is you use a line of credit to help you not save money. I know it's crazy, right? But there are so many videos about warning, warning, this is like a complete scam. I'm like, no, I think you just don't understand it. Okay. Right? And sometimes I think the people who teach it themselves, they don't really understand it either. But let's go ahead and get started today about the so-called controversial topic that even the state of Illinois has banned people from using the term. So we're just going to call it the velocity method. We used to call it something else, but the state of Illinois was like, can't use that word. You're not a bank. Like what? Look up the Kwok brothers. They got a cease and desist letter from the state of Illinois saying stop using that term. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started and pay off debt, and that's what we always do every single day. Today's Memorial Day, and just gonna relax, pay off debt. It's relatively easy. Okay, and so the first thing we have to do to pay off debt is create a budget, because your budget is your debt attack plan, right? Debt attack plan. You have your income, expenses, leftover checking and savings, and then you have your expense breakdown of all of your debts. And then on the last line item, you just kind of put an average figure of what you think you pay per month in your personal expenses that are not tied to debt. So food, gas, insurance. So this number may vary, right? This number may vary. And obviously with gas prices going up, people are a little bit worried, food prices going up. So this is not going to stay the same year to year, right? But your income may not stay the same from year to year, right? So this is just going to be what we think is a monthly average. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to assume we have the same income, same expenses, right? And we're going to put this as a zero. So I'm going to tell you something. This strategy just involves two things: not saving money, and then using a line of credit to help you not save money. Okay. So, in order for us to not save money, our checking and savings has to be zero at the end of the month. Okay. Like, there's no doubt about it. And that's what scares a lot of people because, they're so focused on interest rates. And yes, we are going to use a higher interest rate tool to help us not save money, right? And if you have enough cash flow, then the higher interest rate is not as meaningful as you would think it would be, right? Because the interest that you pay is not only just based on the interest rate, but also based on time and volume. Okay. So let's go ahead and assume we have an 8% $60,000 home equity line of credit. So what's a line of credit? It's basically a financial tool where you could borrow money, pay it back, and use it over and over again. So a credit card is technically a form of a line of credit, but we tend to say, hey, dump all your money into a personal or home equity. Why? Because you can always pull that money back, right? The home equity or personal line of credit and business, if you're running a business line of credit, if you're running a business, is the only financial tool where you could completely dump all your money in and get it out like the same moment. Like you literally just click a button on the bank's website. You can't even do that with the credit card. So why do you think that most people can't overpay credit cards? Well, let's say I put this entire $5,000 into one credit card. Well, can I use that to pay, the second and the third credit card? Absolutely not, right? Unless you do a balance transfer, which is a pain. You got to wait like 2 weeks, okay? So I have used all the tools that I'm talking about. I've used all the tools except for a business line of credit. I've never had that. I'm going to be honest with you. I've had a business credit card, but not a business line of credit. And so here, okay, the reason why we say move it into the line of credit is because we can easily free up cash flow. And the line of credit is a tool where we could dump all of our money in and have no fear about doing that, right? So that's what we're going to do. And we're also going to assume we have a free and clear line of credit. Now, why do we assume we have a free and clear line of credit? It's because it's actually easier to understand the importance of having a line of credit when you assume that there's going to be a free and clear one. So I'll show you one example where it's realistic, real life case scenario. Someone sent to me an email. So this was the real life case scenario I'm talking about, where someone had 22 debts and yeah, 22 debts right here, and $4.10 starting off. And then this took me like 1 hour and 30 minutes to go over in a live stream. And I was just blown away. And it took me so long that I don't even want to go over a realistic scenario when I could just kind of give you the gist of what the benefit of having a line of credit is. Now, here's the thing, right? If you have little money left over and you go to a bank, I want a $60,000 home equity line of credit, will they give it to you? The answer to that is no. Okay. And you might be like thinking like, well, why is that? It's because banks don't lend money to people who need it. Banks don't lend money to people who need it because the bank sees a person who needs money as a very bad person, because they know from historical data, from the gajillion transactions they do per day, that people who need money don't pay you back, right? So why do we demonstrate with the free and clear line of credit? Because it's much easier to actually understand the importance of a line of credit than actually going to a realistic scenario where I'm here for 1 hour and 30 minutes and starting out with a maxed out line of credit. Now, typically, a person who reaches out to me, if they want to apply the strategy, they have a line of credit. It's just maxed out, right? But if we had a free and clear line of credit, you would have never been here, because you would have, you would have known this strategy, what to do with the strategy from the very beginning, and then you wouldn't have been here. And here's the crazy thing, I know some people come up to say I'm special and blah 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 blah. The truth is that, unless you're at this point, and again, for some people it might be the case where you have 22 debts and $4.10 left over, you ain't special. You see what I'm saying? All right, so let's go ahead and do this, where we're going to rank our debts using something called the cash flow index. If you don't know what the cash flow index is, it's a very simple formula where you just get the debt balance divided by the monthly payment, and then it's just a system that allows you to rank your debts. Okay, so this system allows you to rank your debts, and then you go from smallest to highest. And we pay off the mortgage last. Now, why do we pay off the mortgage last? Well, it's relatively easy. You're literally giving someone $235,000 for only $1,100 back in your cash flow. Whereas you could just pay off these two credit cards, which is 42 grand, and get $1,300 back in cash flow. So you see that this lower amount gives you more bang for your buck in terms of cash flow, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to pay off these credit card debts, low cash flow indexes. And how much debt is this? 5, 15, 27. And then this is going to be 47K, 47K. Okay, so guess what happens when we do this? This is so controversial, right? Oh my goodness, it's a complete scam. Well, basically these payments go to zero. And then now we literally went from $400 to almost $2,000 in an instant, because we did not save money, right? We did not save money, and we used our line of credit as what we call as our main operating account. So this is the final step after this, where we put our entire paycheck into the line, take our expenses out, and then rinse and repeat over and over again. So after every month or so, almost $2,000 gets deducted from the line of credit. So we're just paying off debt much more effectively than we were in this situation, right? Right. So you see that, like, literally, let me go ahead and zoom in here. You see how the income is the same? Well, it's technically true when we say we didn't need to make more money. In fact, we had to borrow more money so we could just do a debt transfer. And so the expenses there, we just kind of shuffle them around. And then so magically this 465 turns into 1982. And that's how I beat Shaq. No, actually I didn't. So that's yeah, so that's, you show this to other people, and the higher income that you do it, the more better results that you get, because obviously you could borrow more money, and the type of money that banks will, most likely lend to you is a credit card. So because of those high interest rates, when you move it into like a home equity line of credit, this number exponentially turns into a bigger number, right? So that's what we're going to do. And then so now let me just kind of show you how we get the next month's balance based on the previous month's balance, previous month's interest minus our cash flow. All right, and then what we're gonna do is take the average daily balance, we just do this right here, and then multiply it by the interest rate, and then 0.08, and then you divide by 12, and then we see that the interest is $306, okay? So think about this. If the minimum payment of a line of credit is what is usually the interest, right? The very bare minimum. and we dump $5,000 into this, are we going to cover the minimum payment? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why it's so easy, right? And then we just kind of copy and paste, and then we just see that in about 27 months, this gets all paid off, right? 27 months, all right? 27, look at that, 27 months, and how much debt? It's 47K. And I'm going to just do this. And then what we're going to do is auto loan, mortgage, and then we just got 2 more loans, and then we just got to type 27. Is it 26 or 27? Did I screw up? Wait, let me see. Oh no, I think I must have screwed up the first time I did this, because I have it as 26. Okay, whatever. 27, 27. And then we see that using the cash flow index, right, we should pay off the auto loan first. Now, I know how the average American brain works when it comes to paying off debt, which is the 4% should be the focus because it's a higher interest rate than the 3. Now, if you take a look at the cash flow index, right, this is the lowest one. We pay off 12 grand, we get an extra 400 bucks relatively quickly. And then what we can do is apply the paid off cash flow or the paid off debt to the next debt, right? So we're going to get extra $400 much quicker than, let's say, the $1,100 in our cash flow. So that's what this means. So we're going to focus on the 4% debt, but we're going to focus on it last. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, and then we're going to add transfer 12506.66. Okay. Into, actually, let me keep that one so I remember the line of credit. All right, so now we're going to get extra $395, 0. And then now look at that. Pretty good, right? We went from $465 to $2,378 of cash flow. And I'm just going to go ahead and do this and do this minus 2378.07, 0.07, and I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste, and then we'll see that in 33 months this has been completely paid off. Okay, so now let me just go back here. So this is 33 months, and then this is going to be 47 plus 235. That's going to be 282K. And then now the mortgage, what's the balance of the mortgage at? Wait, why did I put 282K? No, that's not right. Oh, I'm stupid. All right, so it's 47 plus 22. It's 69K. That's what it is. Okay, 69K. Okay, so now with the mortgage at 33 months, I'm going to put 33 right here. This is going to be 0. And then we see that the current balance is $223,000. Yeah, and so now we have 2 ways that we can pay it off. Method number 1 is just simply making extra payments, right? In fact, let me actually present to you a new strategy that I just came up with, right? So why not just charge everything onto a credit card? Okay, so this is going to be a little bit crazy here. Sounds a little bit crazy, but kind of listen to my my train of thought, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to charge everything, mortgage, personal expenses, and the cash flow as additional payment onto a credit card. Okay, now you might say, well, why would you do that? And that's because the main advantage that a credit card has over any other debt tool is that the statement balance, okay, does not, get charged. I'm sorry, the interest does not get charged as long as you pay off the statement balance. And so what we could probably do is put in our entire income into that credit card and only pay like a plastique.com fee. So this might be, I might have to come up with a better way to explain this, but I just kind of thought about this like yesterday. So theoretically, okay, the amount of interest that we would have to pay, or the fee that we'd have to pay, is this times 2.99%, so about 3%, okay? So let me just kind of do this value, and then I'm just going to do equals times 0.00299. And so the maximum amount of interest that we would, or not interest, fees that we had to pay to do this is 6 grand, which is actually, I think it's lower than what we would do if we're using even a HELOC, right? Because the only thing we had to pay is that plastique fee, which we could easily offset with like rewards points, I believe. But this is a little bit more restrictive because only Discover and I think what's it called? Not Amex, not Visa. What's the other one? MasterCard only allow you to do this with plastique.com. So let's say that you did this and you only pay 6 grand on the mortgage or in interest. That is insane. That might even be better than using a HELOC at 8%. I'd have to check this one out. This is a game changer. But let me just kind of do this. So 223, 209.47, 223, 209. 209.47. So let's take a look at this. And so if you take a look at the numbers right here, you see that with the 8% HELOC, if we're going to use a strategy, we have to pay 29 grand in interest. So 29 grand in interest for using a HELOC to pay off the mortgage or use a credit card, pay the statement balance in full, and pay the 2.99% plastique fee. Okay, you know what? Maybe I might like revise my strategy and just say pay off the mortgage with the credit card, just up to the point where it's your mortgage, additional principal, and personal expenses onto the credit card. You'll obviously be charged the mortgage and the additional principal because Plastic will charge those as fees. But oh my goodness, I think this is a game changer. Because think about it. We were expecting to pay about 29 grand, and with this strategy, we're only paying 6 grand. So if my math is wrong, okay, my math might be wrong. This will save you so much more interest using a credit card than using even a HELOC or extra payments. Because really the difference between extra payments and a HELOC is quite minimal, but it's very similar. But this is way better. Okay. All right. All right. Well, that's it for this. So have a great time. Oh my gosh. All right, 6.1 years. Let me just write that down. So this is 33 divided by 12 plus 6.1. So that's 8.85 years debt free. Okay. So now, and I'm just going to go highlight this. And, this is what's so controversial. OMG. Yeah. All right. Well, now I'm just kind of excited because this whole paying off your mortgage with the credit card thing is actually blowing my mind now that I didn't really think about until like yesterday. And I've been doing this for like 3 years or doing YouTube videos for 3 years. Okay. Well, have a great day, everybody. And I will see you all on the next video.